Welcome back everyone to Data Science for Everyone. Today we're going to be looking at some financial data science, so let's get started. So first thing that we're going to do on this new journey here is starting to look at just some financial data plotting. So specifically we're going to be looking at some 2D static plots. So first off, we're going to go on and do import matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. And then we're also going to go on and maybe just do some basics. I'm going to keep all of the normal stuff here. And you know what? Let's go on and also get in import numpy as mp and mp dot random dot seed as 42. So let's go on and create up just some data. So mp dot random dot, let's do standard normal. And you know what, let me go on and also zoom in a little bit for you guys. Maybe a little big right now, but we'll take care of that in a minute. And let's go on and just get 20 observations here. And let's go on and set our x to be equal something like mp.a range, the length of y. You know what, let's go on and let's make this a little bit bigger. Let's go on and make it 50. Yeah, let's go on and make it 100. Sure. And so some of the basic plots that we can do here is just to do something like plt.plot x, y. And we run this and we see here, again, we have this nice kind of noisy plot here. All right, so a couple things that we want to do. We have this random seed here, and this fixes the seed for reproducibility. Okay, and then here, so we are drawing some random numbers. Okay, and then here, basically we're just setting up some integers. Okay, so sets up some integers. Okay, and then here all we're doing is doing a nice plot. Okay, and again, this is just the basic plot function. We're not using pandas, we're not using anything. We're just using numpy and matplotlib, okay, in order to plot this. So this is technically just a 1D series here. We can also do something like this, plt.plot y. Oh, and you know what, if I put let me put that semicolon there. Okay, and we run this, and technically it's doing the same thing here, but again, it's just doing this in the position in which we are running this. Okay, and again, if I go up here, notice they're basically the same thing. So let's go on and do the cumulative sum here. Okay, so we can do something like plt dot plot y dot cumulative sum. Okay, and if I just run this, notice that this is just the cumulative sum, and here it just happens to be this nice downward trend here. Now, a couple things here that maybe we want to add in some things. So let's do something like plt dot grid through, and notice that's not going to give us anything that we want here. Does not have a gird. Okay, so again, we probably want to do grid. And so notice now this gives us this nice grid search here, okay? And so because again, sometimes maybe it'll help you kind of see these nice visuals or anything else. Sometimes you want to turn it off, and if you want to make sure, like if it's popping up and you don't want it on, then you can say false. Okay, but for now, we're just going to leave it true. And we're also going to set our axis to equal here. And I want to turn that off as well. And notice here that this actually stretches everything out so that the size, okay, is technically going to be the same on the x and y. So there's going to be 0 to 100, so there's basically 100 observations here, and there's going to be basically 100 observations here. And notice how it kind of flattens out that curve, because it's going to be basically a nice equal square. So this Again, I would sometimes tell people to kind of watch out if you do this because it may skew your idea of what things are, but that is very useful because again, look, this looks nice and noisy here, but then here, whenever you stretch it out, things look a little bit better. So a couple other things you can do, okay, is we can directly utilize the minimum and maximum values for our axes. Okay, so then this can actually make things look a little bit nicer. So let's go in and do that. So let's do plt dot plot of y dot our cumulative sum, and plt dot x limit. So we want set our limits to be -1 to 20, and plt dot y limit here, and we'll do np dot min of y dot cumulative sum. And here we actually want to do, let's do -1, and then we'll do np dot max y dot cumulative sum here of with +1. Oops. +1. And what this does here is this gives us this -1, this +1 gives us a little bit of bump room that we would want to kind of have when we're plotting everything out. We plot this, and now notice we have this nice, it looks actually a little bit more of a nicer curve. And again, we can go on, and if we wanted to, we could do plt dot grid. It's true. And you can have that grid in there as well. Okay, and so this gives us something that's a little bit nicer in there. Now, a couple other things that we may want to do, okay, is to make this a little bit more stylized. Okay, and to do that, let's actually pull in our full range of things that we've learned in our past courses. Okay, so let's do fig size here is maybe a 10 by 5. Then we'll do our plot, our y dot cumulative sum, and we're going to leave everything fine here, except we're going to have this width equal something like 1.5. So it'll be a little bit wider than, a little bit bigger than what we have here. Okay. And then I want to go in and add in here some dots. Okay. So some red dot points in there. And I don't actually need that. And let's go on and X label in here. Let's call this the index plt dot y label here. We're just going to call this the value. And then we'll do plt dot title, very simple plot. Run this, and now notice, now we have one of these kind of standardized plots where we have these small dots at each of the points, and then we have these this blue line kind of connecting everything. And again, right now it kind of looks like it has chicken pox because it's going through these with so many dots, and maybe we want to change the size of the dot, or we want to do something else later on. But again, it's not necessary. And again, you could always change these colors. So maybe, I don't know, maybe you wanted them to be green. Okay, or again, maybe, I don't know, who knows, maybe we wanted the color here to be green and this to be red. Okay, so again, you can change this up any way that you want to. And again, we can have all different types of styles. Okay, so maybe we even want like maybe you want this smaller, maybe you want something like some triangles or something like that. Okay, and again, these are little down triangles in here. Maybe you want some sort of little like star marker or something else. You can. Again, now it kind of looks like a bunch of little Christmas trees or something. But this is the first. This is our 1D plots. So let's go on and actually move on into our proper 2D plotting here. Okay, so this is kind of, let's just say that this is a nice warm up into what we're going to be doing. We're going to expand on it. So the next thing we want to do is to go on and let's actually create up a little bit bigger of a data set. So let's do something like y is equal to np.random.standard normal, and we want 100 by 2. So this is going to have, we'll have 2, for now we can even just call them stocks. Our axis here is 0. Run that, and then let's do plt.figure here, and we'll do big size is going to be, let's do again our 10 by 5. plt dot plot of y. So this is, again, because this is a 2D array. It's not just a 1D. It's not just a singular column. We're going to be able to plot multiple things on here. And so again, let's give a nice line width of something like 1.5. And then we'll do y with our nice red dots. And then now we can actually go on and let's do this. Let's do lt dot x label. Here is going to be our index again. And then we'll do plt dot y label is going to be value again. And then we'll do something like plt title is simple 2D. And so you notice here now we have just these 2 colorations, and again you can see that they are kind of splitting off here in 2 different directions. We have a blue one, we have an orange one, and again we just had it just pick its own colors here. All we picked here was we wanted this red dot in here. So a couple things that we may want to do is, so let's go on and maybe give this a little bit more information. Okay, so for example, yeah, now we have 2, let's just call them stocks, okay? But what are each of these? How do we label them individually? Okay, and so that's going to deal with this row here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just copy everything, and I'm going to move it down. And then we want actually 2 of these. And we're going to grab, and the way, since this is a NumPy array, we're going to actually go on and use some bracket notation here. And I want all of the columns, or all of the rows, but I also want the first column. And then here, I want the second column. Then let's go on and give it a label here, and to say first. And then let's just call the second one in here label is equal to second. And I think, you know, and I don't really like, let's just leave it like this for now. And we can, whoops. So they're labeled, okay, so one thing, okay. I had them labeled, but I did not actually have it, I didn't tell it to do anything with that information, with those labels, okay? So we need to go on and add one more thing. So plt dot legend here, and we want it to be you know, let's just let it be. Okay, and so this puts this in the upper right hand corner. And maybe we don't have this as a, what happens if I leave it? Ooh, that's in deep red. And let's have this to be a green. And this one, let's just have it to be a bright blue. Okay, so now they actually kind of stand out a little bit. And we'll have the points to actually be red again. There we go. So now everything looks a little bit nicer in there. So this is kind of our first little foray into these nice 2D plots. And again, you can scale these any way that we want. Now, something else that we may want to do, okay, is sometimes scaling is going to be a bit of a problem, okay? And maybe, for example, they want to, maybe these data sets are going to crisscross or something like that. So let's go on and make a little bit more complex data set. So, how would we want to set this up? What would be the best way to go about that? Let's go on and do a bit of a rescaling on some of the data. So y0 is equal to y 0, and let's say that we want it multiplied by 100. Okay, and so let's go on and plot that out. So I'm going to actually just go on and grab this whole thing. Let's put this down here. So now we can see what happens when we rescale. Notice now, and I'm actually going to go on and turn that line off. So now you can see here that there's this one that's this solid line here, and then the other one is this kind of crisscrossy, zigzaggy line. So that's one way that we can kind of look and notice here that there's definitely this crossing point here, right? And so that can be a little bit of an issue. So maybe maybe we want to switch up a little bit the way that this looks a little bit more, okay? So one thing that we could do, okay, so we can go back up here, and let's say that we want to maybe change the way, because again, notice that this blue, okay, is 100, or the second one, right, first one here, okay, is going to be basically 100 times bigger than the previous, right? So how do we want to go on and take care of that? Well, one thing we can do is we can have twin axes. Okay, so we have two y-axes that we take care of. So how are we going to go about that? Well, first thing that we can do is if we go and we have this figure here, we want to go on, and I'm going to leave that figure size the way it is, and we'll do fig axis 1 is equal to plt.subplots, and then we can go on and give some basic plots. So we have this plot for the first one, plot for the second one, and then we have our basic location. I'm going to set it, just leave it for automatic for now. And then let's go on and down here, we're going to actually, you know what? Yeah, let's go on and set up our axis 2 will be, let's say, let's turn this to grab this and move it down. And let's go on and say what we want axis 2 to equal axis 1 dot twin x. I'll just run this to see how this looks. Oops, that's not exactly what we're wanting in here. All right, so let's go on and kind of continue playing with this until we get it the way that we want. Let's leave these. Let's actually move things around a little bit. I want these to come with me down to the bottom. And then let's run this and see. That's still not wanting to do what we want it to do. So let's double check everything here. Okay, so first we have our, you know, let's go on and get rid of this as well for now. So we have our plots, we have our axis 1, we have our plot of our first axis here, we want it to be green. We have the legend, okay? Then we have our X label, our Y label, and then our title. Then we also have our X axis, which is going to be a twin plot here. We have our second plot window. Then we have our PLT dot, let's do a legend again. And then this time, let's set this one in location 0. You know what, let's go ahead and put this one up here as well. So this one will be location 8. And then we also want to go on and do plt.y label in here is value 2. And there we have it, okay? So now we have our nice values where we have them basically crisscrossing here. And I think they're doing okay. We may want to kind of switch out maybe the placement of this secondary line here, but this is one thing that can be useful whenever you want to visualize both of them in the same plot, but the problem being is that this is very misleading, okay? Because again, the magnitude of everything is done. This makes people think, oh, they are the same, in the same domain, okay? So, but this one's technically in the negative 600 to 200, and this one is in from like negative 2 to 14, okay? So they're not actually in the same boat. What's nice is that we can also use the subplot, and so I'm gonna go on and copy this, and I'll move this down here. We can actually have it work a little bit differently to our benefit. So let's go on and change this up. So we have, you know what, let's go on and just type everything up individually. So plt.figure here, and we want the fig size to be a 10 by 5. Then let's do plt.subplot, and this we want 2, 1, 1. Okay, for that's how we're going to set up and define our first subplot. And we'll do plt.plot y, and we want this from 0. And then we'll do label here is first, and I'm going to leave everything plain. plt.legend here, and we'll say location is 0. Then let's do plt.y label is value. Plt.title is going to be simple to the plot. Plt.subplot here, and this is 2, 1, 2 because we want it in the second category in there. And then we want, what do we want in here? We need to do plt.plot y all the way up to 1. Label here is second. And then we'll do plt.legend. Location here is actually, let's go on and have it in the same location of 0. Because again, this is in a separate plot. Plt.x label index plt.y value. Y label here is value. Let's go on and run that. And now notice, now we have these two subplots. And maybe, what was I having before? First was green. So let me change up this first and let me make it green so that they're, it'll look similar. There we go. So now we have the green and the blue. And notice here that they do not have that crisscrossing nature like this. They do not look, well, and remember we had the crisscrossing, but then we also had the flat version where we didn't change the axes as well. So these are much better ways to kind of visualize the data. We're going to do one more plot here, okay, where we're going to maybe combine a couple different types of plots. So first off, we have, let's say that these would be like 2 stocks, okay? Well, maybe one of them, maybe one is stock data and maybe one is trading volume. Okay, so let's go on and actually plot those out as well. And again, in some of the other episodes, we will definitely be using real stock data, but today I thought we'd do some nice controlled experiments. So the next let's do subplot here of 1, 2, 1, and now we're going to have the plots beside each other, not on top of each other. And then we'll do plt dot plot y do what, 0? Yeah. Label, and I'll just call this stock for now. And we'll do plt dot legend is location of 0. Oh, and location of 0 means best. And so here we'll do plt dot x label is equal to our index. Plt dot y label is just going to be value again. Plt dot title is stock value. And then we'll do plt dot sub plot in here of 1, 2, 2, and this is going to put it to the right hand side. And this will be something like plt dot bar mp dot a range of the length of y. Then we have y 1, and then we want this to have a bandwidth 5. Color here will be red. Label is volume. Let's do vol. And then what's the next point that we want here? Plt dot legend here of location of 0 for our best. Plt dot x label is going to be index. Plt dot y label here is going to be vol of stock. And now you can see here that we have these like trading volumes, and again, maybe we should have done something like the absolute value of each of those. But anyways, this is at least kind of looking nice in how this is going. So again, you have these a bar chart on your right hand side, a line chart on the left hand side, and then you can do basically any other types of plots that you want as well. But again, these are the main ones that we would be probably playing with in the future. So if you guys like this, please comment, subscribe, and hit that like button, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.